Right, and Rowena is not here. Prashant Sharma? No? David Hawke. David, welcome. You've got the drill?
Yep.
Welcome.
I know the story. Hey, well, I'm really impressed the way that Council has taken seriously its commitment to democracy by allowing everyone to come and have their say. My position is that I'm Secretary of Hawsell Residents Association, and what we've done is that we've encouraged our local members to submit on their own behalf, in particular in areas which are too contentious for us to take a stand as a residents association. So in particularly things around asset sales and rates rises. So this is my part. There are other members of our association who will come and tell their story, and I can almost guarantee that their story will be diametrically opposed to mine. I guess the perspective that I've got is that Christchurch really does have a livability issue, and I guess one of the ways that that is really demonstrated to me is that in my day job, one of the things I do is go around schools, and I went to a group of students at Timaru Girls High School a couple of years ago. Who's leaving Timaru? Everyone puts up their hands, turning left or turning right, and most of them going to Dunedin. And the reason for that, I said, well, why are you doing that? And they said, well, better social life, better courses. Now, they're obviously talking about educational context, but it really does come down to the fact that young people see Christchurch as not a particularly attractive place to be. And I think that sort of thing we have to bear that in mind when we think about the financial issues that the council is undoubtedly confronting. I haven't kept up with the overall thrust, I suppose you'd say, of submissions to council, but overall I'd have to say that I strongly support council's rate rises. In fact, I wonder why you haven't made them larger. Because one of the things that you'd have to say, I don't know whether you've had hundreds of people saying this already.
No, not so many, no.
One of the things that you'd have to say is that I think it's escaped some people that we've had an earthquake. And if you look at the other rates rises that are going on around the country at the moment, our rates rises compare to they're about 2 or 3 times what Dunedin is, so we've had 3 or 4 covered stadiums to pay for. And I think we've actually had a bit more than that. I think if you look at, it's just come through since I wrote the submission, the rates rise that Auckland is looking at. 10%, I think. Yep, okay, 10%. Okay, they haven't had an earthquake. They haven't even had a volcanic eruption. So, you know, I think people actually have to get a grip and be realistic. The place has had an earthquake. Arguably, we'd say that Christchurch City was underinsured. Well, who's going to pay for that? We do. And that's just, you know, reality. And we need to keep on top of all the community projects and so on that are coming through. They're absolutely essential. Otherwise, that issue that I said at the start about our livability is just going to get worse and worse. So, as I say, we need to get a grip. The other thing is, if you look at the actual rates levels around New Zealand, we're not too bad. If you actually look now at the way that Council has proposed structuring the rates rises, with the more well-off parts of Christchurch paying proportionally more, again, I'd strongly support that. If we go down the road of asset sales, which I don't really support, but anyway, let's say we do, well, the people who will benefit from that are not the people in the poor parts of Christchurch, they're the people in the wealthier parts. It's a bit of a blunt tool, but by and large, I would support that structuring of rates rises, of having the more well-off paying proportionally more. And I see the clock is just about ticked, so I'll stop.
Well, I was so fascinated I was going to give you longer. Sorry, Jimmy.
One question. Dave, you mentioned, to show for the youth facility in citywide as well as in Hawsell area. if in Hawke area, you are aware, actually, the council put on the draft long-term plan like a skateboard facility, and moment also built the new Hawke new library and community hall, and also the secure some budget in the Napuna Y, etc.
Yep.
What kind of facility need to be considered for specific the use the facility?
Well, I think if you look across Christchurch City, the provision that's been made for young people doesn't really reflect their role in the population. There's, before everyone gets to our age, they have to be young people. You can't skip. And some people might argue that that's not a good thing. But, and if you look across Christchurch, we actually are performing in terms of, some people call them skate parks. I don't think that's a good term. I think broad youth facilities, and now sometimes that's going to be playing fields. It's just local scale playing fields. Other times it's not. And I think one of the really good examples of the way this sort of thing can work is we went to Reefton a while ago, and I think Christchurch should follow Reefton. We don't usually think of that. But I watched there, and during the day they've got a community youth facility. And during the day, parents and their kids and so on played on that. As it got dark, you had younger people and they'd go to the pool, and the pool would close and people come from the pool out into the youth facility, and then they would drift off home as they're supposed to do. One of the things about Reefton, that while we were there, we saw absolutely no vandalism and no graffiti. And to me, that's how you build youth into your community. And it's obvious there that they value their youth. And if you value their youth, by and large, they won't go round and kick you in the shins.
Thank you very much indeed for a very interesting submission, Dave. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for coming in.